To talk some hoop with us this morning is top assistant for the Tigers, Coach Armstrong, here with us on Off the Bench, ESPN New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Alexandria. Good morning, Coach. Thank you for the time.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's go back before we look forward. Tremont's dribbling the ball with 7 seconds at the top of the key. You're thinking what?
I'm thinking that he's been the guy that's made plays for us all year, and we're going to put him in position to make a play. I wouldn't rather have the ball in anybody's hands in the country. He went and did what only Tremont can do, and went and made a hard finish to propel us to the Sweet 16.
He had some post-game duties on the floor with the TV crew for some interviews, but when he walked into the locker room, social media captured a great moment with your crew and the team, coaching staff, managers, trainers, and the players. What's the mentality of this team moving forward, Coach?
Oh, man, their mindset's been just to do whatever it takes all year. Starting in June, these guys started working their tails off, and this is just the end game of seeing how much work they put in and how the bond that they have through all the adversity they've had to go through this year. Really what they've done is nothing short of miraculous, Jordan. And their mindset is that we can play with anybody, beat anybody, and then we're here to win this thing.
We call you public enemy number one here on this show just because of the coverage from around the nation. Do you guys feel that?
A little bit, which just helps us, just makes us stronger together. And, it's those guys in that locker room all playing for each other, all working for each other. And I certainly think that has helped us along the way.
Talking to Coach Bill Armstrong here on 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN. And, Coach, kind of take us behind the scenes. What are the game planning sessions amongst the coaches? Like, what are the game planning sessions like now in the post-Wade era? Is it like collaborative? Like how exactly does it work with y'all?
It's very collaborative. And it always was, even with Coach Wade. We just, as a group, we have a special bond as even the head coach and assistants with Coach Wade, and that's just everything that he brings and wants his program to be about. From himself to the assistant coaches to the players to the managers. It's all about family. It's all about relationships. And because of that, we were prepared for this moment. We've been together, and we just try to help each other out with everything. We give our opinions, our views, and then try to decide what we think's best and then give that to our guys.
And Coach, something that has been the takeaway from a lot of these games is like LSU gets out to an early lead and then they lose it. And they take bad shots in the second half. And what's your interpretation of kind of the flow of these last couple of tournament games?
Oh man, T-Bob, it wouldn't have been prudent if we'd have blown anybody out. That's not who we are. We got to make it exciting for everybody. But I don't think that's anything that's just crazily abnormal for
I agree.
This tournament.
I agree. That's what I've been saying.
Because nobody wants to go home. Everybody's going to give all they got, and I don't think it's anything of us having a letdown. I just think that the other teams may tighten the screws a little bit, and then, as it gets closer to the end of the game, we're starting to get a little bit more anxious, and then, things get tightened up. But our guys have been preparing for this all year. Coach started in June doing 6-minute games, and I can't tell you exactly how many. I know we played in 7 overtime games, but about every game comes down to that 6-minute game. So we've prepared ourselves for it. The SEC, the conference as a whole, has prepared us because so many great players, so many great teams. And so once it comes down to that, we're ready. Like I said, I don't know that it's a whole lot of anything other than, just the way this tournament goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just basketball. A 12-point deficit. We've seen y'all come back from double digits multiple times. 12 points is not the end of the world.
And when you put two, somewhat equal teams together, that's usually what's going to happen.
And so you mentioned the 6-minute games. It's something that I love continuously highlighting and harping on because Coach Wade has. And something else within that, what I've been impressed with the all staff from day one, it's not just the physical preparation, but mentally, mindfulness, getting guys ready for these high-pressure situations. Y'all are at your best when the pressure's the highest. How much of that success do you attribute to that mental training?
Oh, I think it means everything. It gives us just that little bit of advantage that we need there in the end. I think that's Coach Wade's philosophy to give those guys those things and give those guys those tools and resources to have, so that down the stretch of the game and then ultimately down the stretch of life, they'll have those things that they can fall back on and understand how to handle adversity.
Looking forward to the matchup of Winston and Waters here, these 2 point guards, an all Big Ten and an SEC point guard. What are the challenges outside behind the backcourt that Michigan State presents to you guys on Friday?
Can you say that again, Jordan? Didn't understand the question exactly. You're talking about the D matchup or outside of that matchup?
Both of them. That matchup individually, and then Michigan State versus LSU.
Obviously that's two of the best point guards in the country going at it. Will be fun to watch. I can't imagine that you'll be anything more than entertained. All the people that are going to be watching it, to me, is the best in the country. They're different in styles a little bit, but obviously they both get it done. And then outside of that, it's just going to be it's a good matchup in the sense of 2 big physical teams going at it. Where Michigan State, they hang their hat on physical defense and rebounding the basketball, and we've got to, understand that and keep them off the glass, as well as continue to get on our offensive glass and do what we've done all year, which is rebound about 40% of our misses.
Mm-hmm. Coach, when you look at this Michigan State team and Izzo, they love to match up man on man, but you guys have struggled against the zone. Are you preparing for zone on Friday?
We'll prepare for it a little bit. I mean, going into the Maryland game, they had played about 30 possessions of zone all year, and we talked about it. It was a short term, about 46 hours to get prepared, and we talked about, we worked enough against the 3-2, and you get a little worried that you're not working enough against it. And what I told the staff was that, if they go 3-2, that means we're beating up on them pretty good, because they don't ever go to that. Yeah. And unfortunately, I was prophetic, and we didn't handle that zone real well. So we'll prepare for it better. But I think it was a good strategic move for them to go zone. They got into our legs a little bit. We've been obviously playing well against the man, and then when you start missing shots, we talked about earlier, just things start happening that way in a basketball game. So I don't. Again, I'll say the same thing, and hopefully if they go zone this time, we'll do a little bit better against it. But I don't foresee them doing that much. If they do, it just means they just can't guard us in man.
So, Coach, what's this week been like? So you're in Jacksonville, you win the 2 games, y'all come back to Baton Rouge. When do you leave for D.C.?
We leave we keep everything the same routine-wise. Coach Wade's been out. We have just decided. Coach Wade is very, very routine-oriented. I think that helps these young guys so much, and it's really what's got them to grow up a lot faster. Just giving them a routine, they know what to expect, and so we didn't want to change anything as far as that was concerned. And so we've pretty much done the same exact thing, same exact practice time, same amount of time off. So we'll practice today, we'll practice tomorrow morning, and then we'll leave out about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Are the guys being able to really enjoy the experience? I mean, this is one of the great times in sports. Forget, what's happening. Just they'll remember this for the rest of their life. Are they being able to enjoy this experience with everything that's going on off the floor?
Yeah, without question. Like I said, these guys, I mean, they're special. I don't know if you've been around them at all, but just an unbelievable group of guys that have bonded together as family, and they're enjoying it. And like I said, they're set to continue and keep it going.
Hey, Coach, this comes from Jeremy Rayburn on Twitter. He says, that's Coach Armstrong. How did the end of the Maryland game compare to watching his kid close out the championship game this weekend? #RageBaseball.
Well, the Rage Baseball team had a lot better manager than we did. Assistant coach, for sure. Nothing against Coach Benford, but myself. That Jeremy Rayburn's a heck of a manager there for the Rage, and they gave him quite a lead to work with, so I wasn't quite as nervous once they got all those runs. But to start it, I was much more nervous watching him close out that game than I was Fremont with the ball.
Boot up. Bill Armstrong, assistant coach for the Tigers, as they take off for Washington, D.C. to take on Michigan State in the Sweet 16. You got the state behind you, Coach. Go get them.